let's talk to another old stomping grounds, another old area code I used to have. Alan in Wyoming, different part of Wyoming, I think, based on the next three digits. But Alan in Wyoming, you're on the line with Jimmy and Jovan. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Just fine. You ever go to Cheyenne or Laramie?
Hopefully this conversation.
We didn't used to know each other, did we?
What? No. You're like a couple, like a decade older, maybe. I don't know your age. So.
Word. You Mormon?
Yeah, he called you old.
No, I'm not.
All right. Then you probably don't know me or my family.
How old? Wait, how old do you think Jimmy is? Alan, how old do you think Jimmy is? Pick a.
Around like 25 to 30 range, or like older, like 25 to 35.
25.
That's very nice. That was very nice. So, Alan, how old are you?
I'm 20.
All right. Yeah, I'm 35.
You're 20.
That's very flattering. All right, Alan. You are here to defend that it is the right thing to fire people for celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great.
So
you're not a free speech absolutist.
Before we get into it, I want to ask about examples I've specifically seen, and you tell me whether that qualifies as a celebration. And you would say that it's appropriate for an employer to be contacted over what a person's doing in their private life and fire them. You ready for that?
Yep.
All right. If somebody says, "Oh my God, that was awesome. Do more of that." That's appropriate?
100%.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree I agree that that's the most justified example you could have.
Saying like,
hang on.
Yeah, another on the line of that would be like having like a politician or an activist name and typing like do him next, or
sure. So what you're describing now, you are saying fire them for it. And I don't know if I'm going to go there, but some sort of consequence for the incitement to violence, right?
I would fire is like the minimum.
Great.
For me, for that.
What if somebody just... Now, what about if somebody makes a joke and just goes like, "Oh man, I heard he lost the gun debate"?
No.
Okay, well, just so you know, if you go to Twitter right now, because the thing that you're describing isn't a hypothetical that you're defending. It is a thing right now happening. And if you go, they've created a website. Yeah. It's called like Charlie's Murderers or something.com. They're up to like 50,000 people. And they are posting screenshots on there. I'm sure we already are. They are posting screenshots of people saying the shit that I say, which is, I do not know the man. I don't personally love the man. And I recognize the man as evil. I do not celebrate murder, and I condemn murder. However, I am not going to condemn the murder of him more loudly than the murders he was complicit in. And if you want to go with the big example, the genocide in Gaza, because he was a huge part of getting Donald Trump elected and has been very supportive of the genocide in Gaza. And if you want to go with more recent ones, recently Donald Trump murdered 7 Venezuelans in a boat without due process with the claim that they were doing something that gets done in this country by pharmaceutical companies and is a thing we don't give the death penalty for. That is his president. That's the people that he supports. Those are the sentiments I make, have gotten a ton of shit for. And the sentiment a lot of people have made is some little joke of like, this isn't a person. I hated this person, them being gone. And by the way, a lot of people are just reacting in a way of you don't know how you're going to react when you see it. And you might have an initial thought that's kind of funny. You're like, oh my God, because in America, shootings happen every day. And then you see the video and you might break down on a stream because you're a liberal whose exposure to violence, it hits you the most when you see white violence. No specific streamer in mind. Anyway, but somebody who hasn't seen enough videos out of Gaza. Those are the people they're going after. These are the people who were melting down over when the right was doing similar levels of stuff. getting banned from Twitter was too far, but going in a person not being sympathetic for the death of a person who was extremely polarizing, who supported the idea that gun rights were so valuable, it has to come at the cost of some gun death a year, that said things like abortion is worse than the Holocaust, and not like he said that. So you would say that all of the examples I just gave you, that the actual campaign from your conservative allies right now that are going on, Milo Yiannopoulos and Laura Loomer and Cat Turd and all those people very loudly spreading it, Elon Musk showing support for it, that the way in which they are doing it is going too far if they aren't hitting the level of saying, do so-and-so next, or straight out, very obvious, explicit celebration.
So on the point of the abortion being equivalent to the Holocaust,
I knew that's what you were going to do as soon as I said it, Alan. I knew that's what you were going to do. Instead of engaging the actual conversation and engaging the actual, that you were going to take the example that I gave and go like, yeah, but he was kind of right about that. That super polarizing thing he's saying that makes people...
I'm disagreeing with him.
Okay, great. But why do we need to go to abortion when that's not what we're on right now?
Abortion?
Great.
Yeah, I know.
So what's the question I had for you?
So, question, if that is on par, like what they are saying should be like eliminating, like firing them for their jobs based on what their viewpoint, what they say is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like abortion equal in the Holocaust is like a fucking extreme from Charlie's point of view, which I totally disagree with.
Alan, can I just ask you? How do you feel about the fact that, like, when we're looking at the response to this, a man was fired from MSNBC because he called Charlie Kirk divisive and said that when you spread hate speech, people will respond with violence. Was fired for this, but a Fox News anchor said to kill homeless people, and he got to keep his job and just make an apology. Which side do you think seems to be the side that, like, because you're sitting here saying people should lose their jobs for celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, but like, why? Because they're happy that a man they didn't like is dead? If a guy that I dislike in my private life dies and I go on the internet and I'm like, yeah, I'm so happy my shitty neighbor died, like, should I get fired for that because I didn't like the guy?
I think on both counts, they both should have been fired.
Okay.
Why?
Let me give you one.
They're both inciting violence against.
Whoa. That's not inciting violence.
Yeah, neither is. But
you're not calling for.
Saying someone's promoting hate speech, like, can if like some mentally deranged person like this, like shooter was.
So now we have to just censor ourselves and not call out what is actually happening in the fear that people will respond to
as hate speech is problematic. Like crying that something's a fascist.
But Alan, the First Amendment exists so you can say things other people disagree with. I don't think it is problematic, but that's what the First Amendment is for. I get told I'm doing hate speech against straight whites over on this channel all the time. That's their opinion they get to have. If somebody murders me, nobody's going to go, and especially from the right, and say, well, everybody who was mad at him about that. And you know this is true. You know that the things you're describing as the okay lines, you know that if it happens on the left, it won't be that issue. But let's find a spot where we can agree that someone should have been fired. Do you remember when George W. Bush's, I think it was his cousin, got attacked back years ago? And so his cousin got attacked for being related to George W. Bush by like a liberal Yahoo. And there was that person who, I think it was CNN, but it could have been MSNBC. That person went on air and was making jokes that they think that it was all because he was secretly gay with that guy. And he was like, let's find out. Let's post the bail and then let's interview the guy and find out if it's because they were secretly gay. That anchor was never fired. I can see their face. I can't remember who it was. Can you and I agree that that anchor should have been fired?
The assumption, yes.
Yeah, great. So that anchor is actually Charlie Kirk, and the person was actually Paul Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi's husband, who was attacked with a hammer. Charlie Kirk and his ilk all were making fun of that this was a secret gay lover, and Charlie Kirk said, pay the bail and get that guy out. So so you actually also believe that Charlie Kirk should have been fired from Turning Point USA long before this event happened. Is that correct,
Yep.
Alan?
Yeah.
So everyone should just get fired. Because I wouldn't have fired him for that. I would have said, you're a piece of shit. Let's let the court of public opinion, not a sniper, let's let the court of public opinion do their job and roast you, metaphorically, in the way we comedically use roast. Let's do that. And so it's wild because you're a conservative calling me a leftist, an actual all-out socialist. And I support freedom of speech, and you don't, Alan.
Well, I want to ask Alan something even deeper here. You're claiming that like we're calling for violence, inciting violence. Do you believe that the right is
that you are?
I'm talking about you. So you're saying the left is. You're saying the left is
of the political spectrum, like Hassan, clearly multiple times, Destiny, and the
Hassan
guy
was
that
upset
called the hit on Destiny. Yeah, whatever his name is. Clearly has
Hassan was like upset that Kirk
against their own
hold on.
let alone
wait. Can I just? I just wanted to ask you. Do you think
about Charlie Kirk are fully down to take Hassan out of context?
Do you think that the left or the right incites violence more? So, like, do you think that I don't even want to like specifically the political side. Do you think it's the political left or the political right that is inciting violence?
I think both are equally as bad, though the left, due to their more relevant positions in universities and media sites, as well as like K through 12 schools, have more.
Okay, let's I get what you're saying. Let's just analyze, Alan, let's just analyze this for a second, okay? Donald Trump, days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, put up an AI picture called Chicapolis Now or Chicapolis Now or whatever, showing bombs being dropped on Chicago. Okay. Yeah. Chipocalypse Now, showing bombs being dropped on Chicago being on fire, referencing a war movie called Apocalypse Now, which is a movie about like how shitty and terrible war is, and then said that Chicago is going to learn why they call it the Department of War. He said this, on the 6th? He posted this and said this? How can we even remotely say it's the left when the president of the United States, the leader of the right, is quite literally threatening political violence against an entire state?
The left also supports the terrorist organization of Hamas.
No.
Is that not?
Can you? I don't want to whataboutism.
Yeah,
I don't want to whataboutism right now. I want you to contend with what I just said. Contend with what I just said. Is what Donald Trump did not inciting violence, like directly saying that Chicago is going to learn why it's called the Department of War? Is that not inciting violence?
No, because he was clearly being hyperbolic. Like,
wait, so then how come we can't be hyperbolic when we talk shit about Kirk? Why does he get to be hyperbolic, but we don't get to be hyperbolic? It's a hypocrisy. You don't actually care about who's committing political violence. You just want the left to shut up.
In the past 10 years, I just pulled up the data, 75% of extremist killings were committed by right-wing extremists. When we're talking about political extremists, political motivated. Left-wing extremism was 1%, the remaining 24%.
Luigi Mangione. Do we like try to sanctify those guys? No, we discarded them like the trash they were.
Hey, Alan, go look at the comment section of the Ben Shapiro episode after that United Healthcare guy got murdered. And you tell me the right didn't also support that CEO getting murdered. And by the way, again, I don't support murder. That CEO was a murderer. And the government should have taken it. I don't believe in the death penalty. He should have been spending life in prison for creating and spearheading the AI system, which turned rejections up to the like 80, 90%. And you never even talk to a person. That way there has to be more manual review and more people will just automatically give up on actually getting that dude was a murderer in a much more direct way. So you're going to go with something that's so complicated. Go look at Ben Shapiro, his supporters. It's literally comment after comment of like, hey man, I agree with you on everything else, but I'd also like to be able to afford healthcare for my kids, and your shit here is wrong. Go here and tell me that was a unified, just the left. It was the left's thing. Luigi, if he committed murder, will have to accept the consequence of committing murder. I doubt it. I don't know that he did commit murder because I'm pretty sure he was picking flowers down here in Texas that day. But if he committed murder, he will end up going to jail for murder. But you are literally picking an example that, if anything, was the first time left and right were like, look, I don't know who did it, but healthcare companies are getting fucking crazy and they are killing my family. So I don't feel bad that a person who killed my grandma, who was responsible for the quality of life getting worse or the length of life getting worse for a lot of people, they're gone. Bummer.
I also I just don't get how we're doing, like, I don't get how you can disavow all of this stuff on the left. You're going, the left did this, Hassan did this, Destiny, blah, 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 blah. But when Donald Trump does something, you're just like, oh, I don't think that's inciting violence. You don't think a president showing a picture of napalm bombs being dropped on Chicago is just hyperbole?
Like, I agree with, like, I did not like how Luigi went away about it.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly, Trump is being hyperbolic because he would not fucking go and napalm his own fucking, protocol.
We were also told by you guys last year that he wouldn't deploy the military to his own cities, and he's doing that. So you're saying he wouldn't?
Yeah, because they're
that's what everybody told.
Like, I don't.
Oh, okay. So you're fine with the fact that they lied last year because they knew they were going to do it. They were being hyperbolic when they were lying and saying we're not going to deploy. By the way, they're only deploying the military to Democrat-run cities, despite the fact that many Republican-led states and cities are actually worse.
Too.
And yet they're not. But they're not, Alan. Why is that? Why aren't they? Why are they only going to the left-wing
You're not a states' rights advocate, right, Alan?
Right now,
Alan, you're not a states' rights advocate, right?
And Washington, D.C. are the highest priorities because they have the highest fucking murder rate in the country.
Nope. Incorrect.
Chicago doesn't have the highest murder rate in the country.
So why is it that they're only? Why did they go to L.A.?
No, it didn't.
They also went to Washington D.C. You have got to stop buying into propaganda and actually start independently looking things up. Lots of rich people live in D.C. You think that they let crime happen in those places? It was already an over-policed nightmare of a place. Alan, L.A., Chicago, D.C. When they can, they're trying to send them to like places where they could say like, "Oh, we're going to go stop the protests from happening."
Despite the fact in the National Guard because protesters were throwing bricks and pieces of concrete at ICE agents.
Name one ICE agent they did that to. Name one ICE agent they did that to. All I saw was them throwing things at people who were not wearing badges, were wearing masks, and abducting people off the streets.
Wait, but also even if they did, Los Angeles police were arresting people. The LA police were arresting people who were violent.
Yeah, but
Gavin Newsom said specifically, we've got it handled. And all that happened when the National Guards went in is it incited more people to show up.
They did not help.
All they did was escalate.
Made it worse. Yes.
And guess what? The courts found that Donald Trump sending in the National Guard was illegal. It's illegal. You can't sit here and say we're the party of states' rights and then just overshadow states' rights every second you get. States determine if the National Guard shows up, not the president.
What is the top?
The president can't send the National Guard in.
Can you name without looking it up? What city has the actual top murder rate right now?
Probably New Orleans.
That's close. That's number 3, and that's been basically my entire life. It's been high up. Is New Orleans in a red or a blue state?
It's in a red one.
Yeah. What else would you guess? Highest murder rate. Just so you know, Chicago's not even in the top 5. I assume the pause is you're now Googling.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Trying to name off cities off my head. So
it's St. Louis. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, I know. In Illinois.
No, it's in Missouri. What
Missouri, by the way, is one of the states that is the reason why Chicago's gun violence is so. No. I'm just saying the reason why Chicago's gun violence is so high is because they 60% of all the guns in Chicago are brought in from out of state. Missouri is one of the top 3 states they're gotten from.
So red or blue, Missouri?
It's red.
Pronounced Missouri.
I know that.
Mm-hmm. Did you say it's Missouri? So why are we going to not the top cities? Even if you want to go with the first blue one that's high is Baltimore, Maryland. Overrepresented because Maryland's small, but it is what it is. So we're not going to those. What would you say is the number 1 state, highest state for murder rate? Alan, you still there?
Yeah, I am.
What is the highest state?
I would suggest highest state.
Yeah.
I would say probably somewhere in the South.
Yep. I think you did Google it now. But
That's a good guess.
No, I did not.
Okay, I'll tell you this. All top 5 states are in the South.
So North Carolina, South Carolina.
Nope.
Miami and
Florida's not in the top 5. Neither of the Carolinas are. Think
That's the most
as
shocking to me.
right-wing as you can get, and not only will you find the state with the highest murder rate, you'll also find a super red state with the highest utilization of welfare.
Alabama.
Mississippi. Alabama's number 3. Louisiana's number 2. Missouri, number 4. Arkansas, number 5. New Mexico, number 6. So now we finally got number 6 before we get to a sometimes purple state, but mostly still red state. Right? Am I tripping? Is New Mexico reliably blue? Or is it more purple? Let me double check it.
But also, what's the plan here? What's the plan here, Alan? Just to keep the National Guard in these cities for ever?
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Blue cities and blue states.
Because what's going to happen when the National Guard leaves? The crime's just going to pick back up again.
New Mexico is probably considered blue. Then we get back to reds. Then it's Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Maryland. Go ahead.
The goal is with the National Guard is to help facilitate arrest, and I would expect
facilitating arrests isn't what's going to end crime, right? Because you're not changing any of the socioeconomic conditions that people are living into that are. No, it won't. No, it will not.
Yeah,
what causes crime,
yes,
Alan? What causes crime?
There's multiple.
What causes Alan?
Repeat offenders out on the street.
Alan, what causes crime?
Human fucking nature.
No, incorrect. Poverty.
I have human nature. I'm not out doing crime. Actually, I spat earlier. My bad.
Do you notice that all the states that we list that Jimmy listed as high murder states are really poor states?
Yeah, I know. And I don't.
Because poverty leads to crime.
Kind of thinking.
You don't have to, but it's kind of understood by every criminal justice expert on the planet.
Low income households, crime rate does not fucking it only results into a couple of crimes, like Grand Theft Auto.
Most crime that we look at when we're looking at FBI crime statistics are poverty-driven crimes.
Name the country that is an extremely impoverished but peaceful country. I just want to go with your thesis that they're not.
Only time it would be accounted for.
You don't know how murder can be poverty-driven?
I know, there's only two, trying to steal somebody's purse and the thief murders someone, breaking and entering, you kill the house owner, or in a store, or in those situations, murder is you don't.
Those are the only two you got.
Murder.
You just named a bunch of ways how murder can be a poverty-driven crime.
Sometimes I don't know whether to keep calls.
Do we see murder rates? Do we see murder rates higher or lower? Hold on.
Poverty.
Do we see murder rates higher or lower in impoverished neighborhoods than they would be in well-off neighborhoods?
And then I'll address your gang stuff after.
We would see them higher. So
why?
The reason for that is due to organized crime generally in the major cities. Because they can indoctrinate the young children
Alan,
these organizations.
Alan, what is the goal of a gang? Because you brought it up as gang violence. We'll say organized crime. What is their goal?
Sure, isn't it how community is some leftist on colleges campuses think?
No.
Holy shit.
Alan, this is very funny that you are this bad at this. Alan, if I am thinking about joining a gang, what is the primary reason I might want to join a gang?
So that you don't end up someone's prison bitch. Sorry.
No. So if I'm not in prison, if I'm out on the streets. Alan, what is the number one appeal?
That one just slipped out of me.
What is the number one appeal for a person who is actually considering joining a gang?
It would be through the indoctrination, the belief of making a living.
Maybe you're getting to it.
Hyper fast and try to gain money.
There we go. Money to raise one's socioeconomic status. So if you live in a high poverty area that does not have good programs in place to get you out of a bad socioeconomic situation, are you more or less likely to be tempted to join a gang?
You would be more likely.
Oh, so poverty makes a person who is in poverty would find the concept of joining a gang potentially monetarily beneficial, not because they want to be rich, but because they are in poverty and they want to survive. That sounds to me like, Alan, you're saying there's a connection between poverty and the participation in gangs? Say it isn't so, Alan. You did it, buddy.
So.
You figured it out. It is so.
I know.
Poverty leads to crime. And poverty leads to gang membership. Gangs in impoverished area are competing for what resources they have. That competition leads to violence. Alan, you're in Wyoming. I know what Wyoming's like. I lived there I went to high school there and a portion of my college there. You have not been exposed, unless you leave Wyoming, to a culture where you actually have to compete hard for resources. Even in Wyoming, the most impoverished areas look nothing like poverty looks in parts of this country because the states do not take care of them. The reason Wyoming gets taken care of a little bit more, we could go into a lot of theories, but mostly because it's a homogenous white population. There are non-white people there, and they benefit from the fact that because it is so white, they get to absorb the benefits of being a citizen there. Because they have broadly, if they broad brush and give everybody what they need to there, they end up fine. But even there, doesn't mean that if you're poor in Wyoming, it's all roses. It sucks to be poor in Wyoming. I've been poor in Wyoming, but it's nowhere near as bad as it is to be poor in other places that are targeted to keep poor, to keep people away from having access to the resources of others. You are getting so close to getting it. So close.
Crime is poverty plus proximity.
Some places in this country are worse off than the poorest parts in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that would fucking benefit those places that are ridden with violence of, burglary and theft and gang violence
is reducing the defense budget and injecting it into those neighborhoods. I completely agree, Alan.
What is Alan? Yeah. Really quickly. Do you agree? Do you agree that if Alan, listen. Do you agree that if we properly funded education, you would have less children vying into gang-related activities as they grow up?
We spend a shit ton of money on those areas anyway.
No, we don't.
Through fucking charities as well as the federal government. But would also
what government? What government spending goes to
police officers to help facilitate
police
arrests,
don't stop crime.
Peace between them, and so
Alan, you don't understand how crime works. Police do not. Alan. Police don't stop crime. They don't stop it. All they do is catch after the fact, and really badly at it, by the way. They only solve about 13% of all property crimes and about 30% of all violent crimes. So they're not even good at catching the crime that is happening around them. Secondly, if we're going to talk about what actually ends crime, it's not increasing the presence of police. It's investing in the communities that currently exist.
With the influx of
I don't need you to.
More businesses from those impoverished families will be able to start up. No,
they won't.
A family can just.
No, they will not.
Some family can.
Small businesses don't fail in the inner city because there's so much crime that they're not able to start up. A lot of actual if we want to talk about inner cities, a lot of gangs actually have their neighborhoods. They keep their neighborhoods very fucking secure. They don't want people to come in.
You just
why do you interrupt? Do you notice how much more he interrupts me than you?
You're racist, but it is obvious that you are because you're repeating such anti-black propaganda shit. And you're trying to kirk your way through it. It's not going.
I get 3 sentences into something. You let Jimmy talk to you for 5 minutes straight. You said nothing. I get 3 sentences in, and it's
It did sound a little bit blacker, so.
That's crazy.
Can you blame him? I mean, hey, what is the average net worth? So since you said this is how, in Chicago, what is the median net worth of a white person in Chicago?
The median net worth
of a white family,
I think,
of a white household in Chicago. What do you reckon? Go ahead, just guess.
Net worth includes a lot of fucking things.
Yeah, I know. That's actually why we're going with this. I don't need your preamble. Just guess. What do you think the median net worth is? Because this would affect how you could start a business of a white family in Chicago. What do you think it is?
I would say 4,500,000.
4,500,000 would be 4.5 million. I think you meant 45,000. $210,000 is the median net worth. 210K is the median net worth of a white family. What do you think the median net worth is of a black family? in Chicago?
I would say minimum wage.
What is the median? That's not. It's funny because you pointed out that net worth has other factors. What is the median net worth? Just give me a number like you did with white people of the average black household in Chicago. Don't Google it, Alan. Give me a number.
I'm not. So I would expect it to be like.
If whites are at 210,000, whites are 210,000. Black people are. Do you want to give a percentage? Do you think it's going to be half as much? You think it's going to be 75%?
I think 3/4. I mean,
you think it'll be 75%, or you think it'll be 75% off? It'll have a quarter left.
No, I said I expect like 1/3.
1/3. Okay, 1/3. 210. 1/3 would be $70,000. You think that's probably the median household of a black family in Chicago? Are you ready for the revelation? It's 0. That's the income disparity in Chicago. The median white household, 210,000. The median black household, 0. Now, do tell me, with what money and assets are they going to borrow against to start that small business there? Alan? If you're white, you can borrow against your net worth. What is they borrowing against, Alan?
First off, they don't need to start a business like that.
You just said that was the thing that they need to get out of there was to start the businesses. That was your deal.
Base of revenue.
Alan.
What?
Are you rich, Alan?
No, I'm fucking broke as poor.
So why aren't you doing some alternative to establish a base of revenue? It's so easy, Alan. What's wrong with your bootstraps? Have you not found the straps? You've just been tired. You're like tired yourself out licking the boots that you haven't found the straps?
Just start drop shipping, bro.
No, I have a fucking job.
Why aren't you drop shipping?
I'm apprenticing. I'm doing an apprenticeship for an electrician.
Okay? Great. I hear that. I hear your privilege. You think everybody has access to it.
Let me cut in really quick because this is, obviously. We're trying to, it is pretty well known, Alan, in criminology, in forensics, in anything that analyzes crime, that crime happens when you mix poverty and you mix proximity. So when you have a large group of people concentrated into an area, you're going to have more crime because duh. And when those people tend to be impoverished, you're going to have more crime. Because duh, there are stressors, there are lack of education and resources, lack of all these things. Now you're saying, hey, part of what we should do is we should increase police presence. And by increasing police presence, people will be able to start up businesses in these areas, except they won't because those businesses have been run out by like major corporations. Nobody's starting up a mom and pop shop and out-competing Walmart and out-competing Target and out-competing fucking Trader Joe's. Hold on. Alan. Let me finish, please. Good Lord.
Jovan, if you'd actually just write to me what you were going to say, I'll say it white so he'll listen to it.
Yeah. That might be what we have to do next time. The next thing I want to say is we've seen that the actual positives come from reinvesting into the communities. So do you know what actually leads to a decrease in gang violence and a decrease in children joining gangs? It's not more police. It's funding before and after school programs. Because the children have a place to go after school and aren't just wandering the streets because their parents are at work. That's what we should be doing, is investing in the actual things that actually lead to a decrease in violence, not just throwing more police at it. So the little kids whose parents are in some violent activity to keep food on the table are now in prison. And those kids now have to go into foster care where they're going to most likely be also involved in criminal activity because they don't have parents in the home. And the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. Now you can talk.
So you're assuming that every black parent
Oh
criminal.
my God, there's no way.
All
There's
right,
no way.
goodbye,
There's no
Alan.
way.
That was the most
Stupidest
redacted
shit I've
take
ever heard
of
in
the
my
day.
life.
So we're bored at this point. You have a great day. Call back when you go back and watch this call and try and get a better case together. But we're gonna move on. Thank you, Alan.